Dear child, before anything else, let your heart slow down for a moment. This is a spiritual reflection, not a prediction. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But if you felt something changing lately, if your emotions have been heavier than usual, if your chest has felt tight for no clear reason, if you've been waking up at strange hours with your thoughts drifting to the same person again and again, understand this gently. You are not imagining it. Your spirit often senses movement before your life shows it. There are moments when the soul hears whispers long before the mind receives facts. And this is one of those moments. Something divine is shifting right now. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a deep, steady way that reaches the roots of your life. Heaven says this shift is connected to the one who carries your promise, the one your heart has never fully released, even when you tried. Your soulmate! The one who feels familiar even in silence. The one who still shows up in your thoughts when you least expect it. This connection hasn't faded because it wasn't meant to. It has been waiting. Angels say your soulmate has recently received news, and this news is not small. It didn't just change their plans for a day or a week. It changed how they see their future. It made time feel real to them. It forced them to stop and ask hard questions about where they are going and who they are becoming. This kind of news doesn't simply inform a person. It awakens them. It shakes what was comfortable and exposes what was avoided. And when this moment arrived, your name rose in their heart immediately. They didn't just think about love in a light or casual way. They thought about responsibility, about commitment, about what it would mean to choose you fully and honestly. They thought about protection, provision, and building something real. They realized that what they were being offered in life could not be separated from you. This news wasn't just about their personal growth or opportunity. It was about alignment, and you are part of that alignment. For a long time, they felt the connection, but moved slowly. They were aware of the bond, but afraid of what it would require from them. Loving you was never the problem. Becoming the version of themselves who could love you well was the challenge. So they hesitated. They watched from a distance. They prayed and doubted in the same breath. They told themselves stories to delay action. They tried to be logical when their heart was asking for courage. At times, they acted distant or unsure, not because you didn't matter, but because admitting how much you mattered would have required transformation. They were not ready then, but now something has changed. This moment, this news, this opening has removed the comfort of delay. Fear no longer feels safer than regret. Silence no longer feels wise. Avoidance no longer brings peace. Life has pressed them forward, and their own heart is louder than it has ever been. Angels say the timing is being made right, not because everything is perfect, but because growth has caught up with calling. You need to understand this clearly. You were never an afterthought. You were always part of the shift. This is why your spirit has felt restless. Not anxious in a destructive way, but stretched in an anticipatory way. It's the feeling of standing on the edge of something before it arrives. It's the soul leaning forward before the body moves. You've been sensing motion before seeing evidence. Your soulmate is thinking differently now. They are allowing themselves to consider things they once ran from. They are no longer just feeling emotions. They are forming intentions. This is not about daydreaming. This is about planning. About envisioning a future that is tangible, grounded, and shared. They are looking at their life and recognizing what no longer fits. They are looking at their future and realizing that without you, something essential would always be missing. This is an awakening. The kind that comes when a person realizes they are running out of excuses. The kind that comes when vulnerability feels less dangerous than loss. They are beginning to understand that waiting too long could cost them something irreplaceable. And that realization carries weight. This does not erase the past. It does not pretend the silence didn't hurt or the distance didn't matter. But heaven says silence is not always absence. Sometimes it is a season of internal reckoning. Sometimes it is a person being confronted, humbled, and reshaped in private. Sometimes it is life doing the work that words could not. Since receiving this news, their inner world has been unsettled. Their sleep is lighter. Their thoughts are louder. They replay conversations and moments they once dismissed. They think about what they should have said and what they wish they had done differently. They check their phone more often than they admit. Even if time has passed, even if communication stopped, even if they were the one who stepped away, something inside them has come alive again. Because this news was not ordinary. It was divine timing hidden inside a human experience. It touched the places they kept guarded. It softened resistance. It cracked emotional walls they thought were permanent. It made the cost of delay visible. And suddenly, the time they wasted feels heavier than the fear they once carried. They are tired of pretending now. Tired of acting indifferent. Tired of denying what brings them peace. This moment reminded them that you are rare. That the calm they feel when they think of you is not something they find anywhere else. You quiet something inside them. You bring clarity without force. You offer safety without control. And you do it simply by being who you are. They are not just thinking anymore. They are preparing to speak. Not casually. Not vaguely. But honestly. What is forming inside them is a confession they've carried for a long time. Words they postponed. Truth they swallowed. Feelings they hid even from themselves. Now those words feel urgent. They don't want to speak through signs or intermediaries. They want to speak directly, openly, and clearly. And when they do, it will not come from pride. It will come from humility. From sincerity. From a heart that has been stripped down by realization. They are not returning as the same person who walked away. They are not coming with half intentions. They are coming changed, aware, and willing. Their perspective is shifting. What once mattered no longer holds the same weight. Distractions feel empty. Chasing approval feels exhausting. Control feels hollow. What they want now is peace, purpose, and something real. They are beginning to understand that loving you is not just about emotion, but about becoming better, steadier, and more honest. This is why they ran before. Because your presence demands truth. Your love invites growth. Your connection requires integrity. And now they are finally ready to meet that standard. If you start feeling them more strongly, if their name surfaces unexpectedly, if doors open without warning, if communication shifts suddenly, don't dismiss it too quickly. Don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Heaven often moves quietly before it moves clearly. Through timing, through nudges, through moments that feel meaningful without being dramatic. This moment is connected to you as well. Their movement touches your waiting. Their courage meets your patience. Their awakening intersects with your healing. But remember this with wisdom. You do not need to abandon discernment. You do not need to sacrifice boundaries. Spiritual awareness does not mean accepting less than consistency. If they return, let their actions show the change. Let effort, presence, and follow through speak louder than emotion. Angels say that is exactly what is being formed now. Something visible. Something real. Something that carries weight beyond words. Not a subtle hint, not a hidden gesture, but a clear step that reflects intention. What was hidden is coming into the light. What was unspoken is preparing to be voiced. The one who was quiet is finding clarity. And when they speak, you will understand why your spirit felt this long before your life confirmed it. You are not wrong for sensing it. You are not weak for caring. You are not foolish for hoping. Your heart has been responding to something real. And heaven says the season is shifting, not because you chased it, but because the time is being made right. And the angels are moving in their heart. Fear has been slowly loosening its grip on them. The pride that once kept them guarded is softening. The shame they carried about their past, their mistakes, and their delays is being healed. All of this inner work is not random. It is making space for one necessary step they can no longer avoid. They are reaching a place where they are ready to come forward and choose you openly. Not in secret. Not halfway. Not through distance or silence. Hiding has started to feel heavier than telling the truth. Holding back now feels more painful than risking honesty. They are realizing that standing beside you, being seen with you, and acknowledging what this connection truly is feels more right than pretending confirmed indifference. This shift is not only emotional. It feels deeper than a sudden wave of feelings or a temporary mood. Something inside them is pressing forward with urgency and clarity. It feels like instruction rather than impulse. Like life itself is saying it is time to move, time to speak, time to stop delaying what has already been understood in the heart. You have felt this shift too. That pull in your chest that comes without warning. That quiet urgency you cannot logically explain. That sense that something is approaching even though nothing has happened yet. You are not imagining it. You are not being overly hopeful or desperate. You are simply sensing movement before it becomes visible. They are beginning to ask themselves questions they once avoided or pushed away. Questions about commitment, purpose, and the future. Questions about who they truly want to build a life with. Not just someone to share laughter with, but someone to grow with, to heal with, to pray with, to face difficult seasons with, and to walk through life beside. As they sit with these questions honestly, the answers keep leading them back to you. Your presence keeps surfacing in their thoughts, not as an idea, but as a truth. They can no longer ignore. They see things in you now that they either did not recognize before or were too afraid to acknowledge. They see your strength, your consistency, your depth, and your faith. They see how you have endured, how you have grown, how you continue forward even when life has been heavy. Even if they never said it, they noticed. They remembered. They compared everything else to the peace, safety, and familiarity they felt with you. And it is becoming harder for them to deny what their heart already knows. Much of their delay was never about a lack of care. It was about fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of not measuring up. Fear that their past would disqualify them. Fear of being fully seen. Fear of hurting something sacred because of their own wounds. Sometimes people run from real love not because it is weak, but because it demands growth. Because it forces them to face themselves. Because it does not allow them to hide behind excuses. Now that fear is losing its power. The shame tied to old mistakes is dissolving. The voice that once told them they were not good enough is growing quieter. Healing has been happening privately, in silence, away from your awareness. And as healing deepens, movement naturally follows. Healing does not only soothe the heart, it strengthens courage. It makes honesty possible, This is why it may come suddenly. A message, a call, a simple request to talk. It may start small, but the meaning behind it will be heavy. For them, reaching out is not casual. Speaking first is not easy. Choosing honesty after long silence requires bravery. Do not be surprised if the words sound simple while the energy feels serious. This is someone stepping through fear, not someone testing the waters. Timing has always mattered. There is a season for everything. Some connections are delayed, not denied. Sometimes waiting is protection, not punishment. Sometimes heaven pauses what the heart desires in order to prepare the people involved. Love that lasts requires more than attraction. It requires maturity, stability, and emotional safety. It requires healing that prevents harm instead of creating it. If this had happened earlier, it would have carried unresolved pain into something meant to be peaceful. It would have built on confusion instead of clarity. It would have hurt what was meant to heal. So it was held back not to deny you, but to preserve you. Not to cancel the promise, but to protect it from breaking. And the waiting was not only for them. It was also for you. You have grown during this time. You have healed wounds that once made you settle for less. You have learned your worth outside of someone choosing you. You have strengthened your discernment. You no longer chase mixed signals or temporary attention. You desire purpose, depth, and intention now. You are not the same person you were then, and that matters, because when this happens, you will not need to force anything. You will not need to chase clarity or beg for consistency. What is meant for you will arrive with peace, not anxiety. With intention, not confusion. With truth, not excuses. Even if time has passed, even if silence existed, the bond itself never vanished. Real connections do not see time as an enemy. They go quiet when hearts are not ready to hold them properly. Something is shifting now. The atmosphere feels different. The words they have held inside are forming with weight and urgency. They have gone back and forth internally, asking if it is too late, if forgiveness is possible, if they are enough. Yet the pull keeps returning. The message remains the same. Speak. Be honest. Choose what is real. When they speak, it will not be vague. It will not be half-formed. It will not be playful or uncertain. It will carry truth. It will feel grounded. You may feel it physically, like your breath slows or your heart grows quiet. Not because you are shocked, but because your spirit recognizes sincerity. When truth is spoken, things move. Confusion lifts. Healing begins. Alignment follows. The weight of unanswered questions loosens. The ache of being misunderstood starts to fade. You will feel your heart breathe again. And in that moment, you will understand why things unfolded the way they did. Why silence existed. Why growth had to happen separately. Why timing mattered. The next chapter is not built on longing or uncertainty. It is built on wisdom. That is why preparation matters now. Not preparation rooted in fear, but preparation grounded in peace. This is not the moment to shrink or doubt your value. This is the moment to stay steady, open, and anchored. Release what hardened you. Forgive what still lingers. Clear space within yourself, not to earn love, but to receive it in a healthy way. What is coming is not casual. It is intentional. It is meant to be built. And building requires honesty, patience, understanding, and mutual growth. It requires conversations that are real, boundaries that protect, and faith that remains calm even when something new begins. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into something meant to honor you. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. The delay was alignment. The pause was refinement. The growth was necessary. What is meant for you does not need to be chased. It arrives when both hearts are capable of holding it without breaking it. If your heart has been stirring, if you have been sensing signs, if you have felt movement without proof, trust that awareness. Stay grounded. Stay open. Stay calm. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of the real one.